Mafia, are you ready?
He said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome, everybody, to Brotherly Love Wrestling. No essential series, no other kind of show. This is just us doing what we started this show to do, and that's talk shit about wrestling. And it's just me and Joe today. We haven't done this in a while.
I'm coming in via satellite from an undisclosed set.
So, Joe, you want to start right on the Royal Rumble, considering it was 2 nights ago? Yeah. I
mean, I do, because it's my favorite. It's my favorite time of the year when it comes to wrestling. Royal Rumble is my favorite. Always has been, always will be, no matter what. Mm-hmm. Even when it is somewhat disappointing at times, it's still my favorite.
I agree. I think
there was a lot of good done at this pay-per-view. I mean, obviously it wasn't perfect, but I don't expect perfection from any. I've come to the grips with that. I don't expect perfection from any brand, promotion, company, because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think perfection is a little much to ask.
Like, look at that, and we would be a little biased. Like, look at that GCW show that just passed, the one in Hammerstein.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that with that card and that lineup, like that on paper was perfect. It's just some things get in the way, and it ends up not being as perfect as it could have been. See, I would have thought just on paper, perfection, no matter what. Damn near.
I mean, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Now remember, that is without anybody. Not like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, on paper, you don't know that Gresham's not going to make it. You don't know that the Hate Club is the mystery opponent. Like, without taking any of that into consideration, you would think that that's going to be a damn near perfect card.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And even with Gresham not being there, I don't think it. I mean, granted, not having the best pro wrestler on the planet on the show, of course, hurts any show. But having Leo Rush versus Christian, like, it, I don't want to say it didn't matter, but
you knew what you were getting. You knew
you were still going to get an amazing wrestling match, regardless. Basically,
there's some shit that Christian does that just, they're on another level. Some of the shit that he does, It's ridiculous.
Yep,
it's almost. I don't know, man. I want him to have the bigger stage, because if he was in NXT and he pulled out some of that shit, man, those people would lose their mind.
He needs to be the one in control of him.
That NXT crowd might not. They're a little. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. That crowd's a little goofy.
Yeah, because it's not the NXT crowd that started NXT.
It's like a stage fans.
Yeah, it's like Universal Studios when you used to bring the families in. That's it. You know what I mean? They're not quite fans. They're there. They react, but maybe don't react the way you think they should.
It's more. I don't know. It's more of a. You have to make sure you're doing your job. I get why they say it's developmental, because if you can get over with these common fans and make it known who you are and what you're trying to do, then it's pretty much at its simplest form. Like, that's when we remember watching it. Like, you knew who to cheer for, you know who to not cheer for, to boo.
Yeah. No, you're right.
We're getting further away from the topic that I had originally stated.
We said let's start with Rumble, and we made it all the way to NXT 2.0.
We did. It's amazing how that happens when we don't really know what the hell we're going to talk about.
But anyway, the Rumble.
Yeah, I would. The good that I saw from it I don't know by the end of it if it was still good, but in the moment, like Rollins and Reigns, that was amazing. That was amazing.
Yep.
Oh, Rollins doesn't get enough credit.
What's funny? Thinking about what we were talking about today and what we were going to talk about, I knew eventually we would get on Seth Rollins. And like, I thought
like, it has to be first because that was kind of my favorite part of the whole show.
I think it was match of the night. A match of the night.
I don't even know, like match wise, it was great. And it was simple yet complex storytelling, interwoven storylines from 10 years ago. Like those two, that's like a match made in heaven.
Look at the end. Look at how they close.
The close was, here's the thing. I don't mind a no decision. I don't mind a DQ finish when I get why they did it at the time.
I'm not complaining.
I know I still get why they did it, but like it was emotional. Like it was everything it was supposed to be.
I just love the little nuances of storytelling with Rollins' fingers on the rope, and still to the very end, he did not take his hand off the rope. He didn't give up that little bit. He wouldn't let go. Like those little things, that's what's missing from a lot of this shit. Is those?
I like them getting Roman in the mic and him screaming, "He won't let me let go. He won't let me let go."
Yeah,
I thought that was great. Like when they picked that up, I was like, "Man, this is some deep, like, good shit." Like I was able to absolutely get 100% lost in that. 100%.
Yep.
I didn't judge anything. I thoroughly enjoyed everything that I watched. And what I was saying is that those two, and when you mix in Ambrose with them too, if they still, oh my God, that whole Shield story. There was like, they know they have gold with.
Yeah.
But
anytime they want.
Rollins doesn't get appreciated enough. I mean, there was times where he did, but people have forgotten like everything and the character that he is, and then who he can play and how he can make you love him and hate him with a week by week. Like people always throw out the comparison, and I'm going to do it too, to Omega. Omega is so much better than Rollins. You can't get me to watch an Omega storyline. He can't play the character. He doesn't get it like Rollins gets it when it comes to telling the story and developing a character to be portrayed.
I think telling a story in the ring, yes, but I agree, the character thing, absolutely not.
Like in the ring, I mean, I still think it's very, very close with them two.
I think it's close.
I think Omega might edge him out, just work rate wise. You don't get to see Rollins do too many Iron Man matches and like 30-minute, 40-minute bangers. I think just for consistency of match length and interest within match, I think Omega edges out Rollins. But when it comes to who I want to see tell the story, the lead up, the build up to the match, it's Rollins. And I almost think that outweighs the match itself sometimes.
You're right. It can, depending on the circumstance. I agree.
Like this story, this didn't need to be a 5-star match.
No.
The story was 5 stars. The match was just the dessert.
Yep. I agree.
The whole they're walking through the crowd. Come on.
That music hit. Oh man, huge pop.
Roman's face of look of just utter confusion.
Yep.
Is great. Like imagine if they don't tell him that.
Yes. Yeah.
The only problem is that could backfire and he might laugh.
It's true.
He knows he's got to be in character.
Yeah. No, I think I really do agree with what you're saying with Rollins.
Was the lead off, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
That was the first match.
Yeah. But
that was crazy. That was like how do you it's almost like how do you top that?
It was hard, and that's why I think the match placement was the way it was, because I think I think everything was in the right spot. I think everything was booked right as far as placement, but some of the things were a little wonky, to say the
We'll get
least.
to that. I will say this. If I'm comparing both men's and women's Rumble, I think the women's Rumble was better.
I agree.
I think there was, although there wasn't too many more surprises, there were more surprises than the men's, but I think the ending was better. Although I don't know how they're going to take it in what direction after, because I kind of think Ronda is going to want to face Becky.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Like, Charlotte wasn't involved in that finish.
Yeah.
And it was a quick. Well, how did she beat her again? We were there, but I forget. That was like hour 8 or 9 of the day. It was a quick.
It was like a shoulder. Yeah. Yeah, it was not a roller, not a roll up. It was
I think you're right. I think
was a roll up.
Small package.
Small package. That's what it was. And the shoulder came up while the first. Yeah, well, it was one, and then that shoulder came up when he was hitting 2, and everyone thought, "Oh, she kicked out." And then when you hit 3, it was no one was. Wait, everyone's like, "Wait, did she win?"
That's the match. That's the match for Mania, right?
Yeah.
Now, how about would they bring the other Funkadactyl back permanently?
I don't know about permanently, but I thought it was very cool the way they did it. Like, I loved how they built to it and built right into Naomi. I thought that was really good. That was really good storytelling. I think there was a lot of those storytelling moments throughout the Rumble that you usually see in the men's Rumble that take over, that make it memorable. It happened more in the women's than it did the men's by far on Saturday night.
Hopefully they continue some of the storylines, which I think they will. I mean, who comes after Charlotte though? I mean, Bayley's got to come back eventually, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Bayley still has to come back, which I swore that was going to be a return.
I'm shocked that Sasha got eliminated so quickly.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. When it comes to Royal Rumble, I know that obviously with her, you would expect her to go far, but I'm never really shocked. The only time I was ever shocked was when Daniel Bryan got eliminated in Philly for the Royal Rumble. That was legit shock. But for the most part in the Rumble, I'm not. Like
Dude, that ruined the whole Rumble.
Yes. Yeah.
That like legitimately ruined the Rumble.
Yep.
That was crazy. I never seen a crowd turn south so quickly and just no matter what, not get back into it.
Never.
No matter what.
But I think even with Ronda coming back, because I did say the last time we were talking about the Royal Rumble for our Essential Series, I said I wanted something different. And it felt, even though it was Ronda, it felt different. Like the surprise
it felt big.
Yes, it did. Obviously not as big as when she first came out and we first saw her come out. But yeah, it felt bigger. And I literally stood up off the chair. Literally popped me to where I stood up off of the chair when she came out this time.
I heard it. I heard the music. I was in the other room and I went, "Oh wow!" Then I was like, "What?" I was like, "Ronda Rousey's back."
Yeah,
definitely. Because when you sent me your picks, I think you had Rousey in there.
I did.
And I didn't pay attention to it. I was like, you know what? I want to think about it. I just want to be surprised.
There were names on there. I looked at it and I was like, I thought this out. I didn't think it out too logically. I just kind of went with whatever. Like, I really wanted Corey Graves. I was praying to see Corey Graves come out because of the recent news that he's been cleared. But
that would have been an easy way to get him into a storyline.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that might have been. I mean, he might be cleared, but he might not want to. I'm sure being cleared means you want to get back in the ring, right?
Yeah, because how else would you know you're cleared if you didn't go to get checked out to be cleared?
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
I mean, the men's Rumble. I mean, here's the thing: it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
want them to showcase new talent. We want them to invest in the future. I almost feel like the people that they pick to invest in and for the future have no longevity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the constant argument of they can't create stars.
Like, I feel like they don't have. I know we say we want them to make new stars, but I don't think the people that they have are going to be stars.
I disagree with that thought in one sense. They have the people that can become the stars. It's WWE's vision for what they want that star to be is different and would never work out for those that they have. Like a Sami Zayn and a KO are a perfect example. Like, they could definitely be top guys very quickly. KO for sure. Sammy to a lesser degree, but KO for sure. But the vision that Vince has for a KO is not the type of guy that you're ever going to get. Ever.
I think he feels like all these people that are up on they just remind him too much like CM Punk.
Yeah, I agree.
And he won't ever let that happen again.
Yeah, because they're all from Ring of Honor. They're all that indie type wrestler. Like, of course. Yeah. And he didn't create them.
Yeah.
That's the other
they helped polish them.
Absolutely.
Being who they are, but no, he didn't create them.
But when you think of those three names, you don't think of like WWE guy. You think of Ring of Honor indie guys.
You think of NXT.
Oh, well, them. Well, yeah. KO and Sammy, obviously. Yes.
I'm just not as impressed by seeing the men's roster because I haven't watched it in weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first time I watched any WWE programming in weeks. So when I saw the actual roster that was in the Rumble, like I even tweeted out, I said, I'm getting like major 2011 vibes from this Rumble. And I didn't like 2011. 2011 was only memorable for one reason, really. And it was the winner, and I hated it.
As documented several times on this show over the years.
I'll beat that dead horse until the horse is mutilated and turned into fertilizer. But like, I feel like there was no one in there that was like, you're not gonna look back and be like, oh, the 2022 Royal Rumble. That's not gonna go down as, I mean, the ending.
Probably top 5 worst Rumbles. I think it's going to be down there. Like, it's going to be all the way down. It's going to be bad.
I think you're right. I don't think that was anything like even remotely memorable. Like anything, and even the ending, though it might be memorable next year, you might remember it. It didn't need to happen. It didn't really make sense why it didn't. It was a letdown as far as number 30th surprise entrant goes.
Yeah.
Big letdown. But they didn't have any. I feel like, here's what I feel like. I feel like they took a shot with other people and it fell short. And this was their, I feel like this was a backup plan. That would have been my thing. That would have been my backup.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's just like, I don't know, because there was talk of Riddle winning. And then that all week for like the last 2 weeks, Riddle was the locked in guy to win. And then as of like yesterday or Saturday morning, they changed it to Brock last minute. That it was going to be Brock instead. And that's why I don't know if it's plan B or not. And I also think with the men's Rumble, as many stars as there were, stars, but they're guys that were in it, that they are the pillars. That is the roster. That's all the guys in there. They are the roster. That's what it is.
Like,
Yeah.
There was no Cesaro, no Balor, no Xavier Woods.
I'm just saying, for the majority, like this is a core of what your company is.
The fucking Kofi spot.
And I feel bad for Kofi because we all know you look forward to that.
Why would you check the replay? Don't even check.
They didn't.
This isn't sports.
The camera was right on them. You know how called out they would have gotten immediately if he just would have kept going? There's no way.
Fuck those fans that want it. They just want something to complain about.
Look, I agree with you, but
on your shit.
I saw it I saw it with
Oh, I thought too.
like you saw it happen. So it's not like, oh, it just didn't happen because it's Kofi and we want him to keep going. Like,
No, it definitely happened.
you just, yeah, I think that's what the ref went over and goes, they saw your feet. Like you didn't make it. They saw it in the shot. And that's why they probably had to cut it. But if it was on the other side, it would have been completely different. But I mean, they wanted to get that good shot of him going on to the barricade, which would have been a great shot, except he tapped his feet.
So he's still batting pretty good. He's like 7 for 8 or something.
Yeah, it's still anything he did is crazy. So it don't matter whether he messes up 3 more times. All the stuff he did overshadows him messing up.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this question. I already have my answer.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the roster, like, who do you think, men and women, are like some good names that are always overlooked and sometimes underappreciated?
Overlooked, underappreciated. All right, well, you said it. I said I agree. Seth Rollins. I feel like he's going to be like Edge.
No, I'm talking about the Rumble entrance, not the.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant overall.
No. I agree with that. Yes, Rollins is. I don't think he's as overlooked, but I do think he's underappreciated at times. He's still a top guy.
So, in regards to who was in it, who do I think is overlooked?
Yeah, it's only like some of the WWE talent that don't get enough credit for being good and solid and maybe not getting the breaks and the chances that they should have gotten.
He wasn't in it though. So,
who are you gonna say?
but for me, I from the beginning I've seen it, and that's Chad Gable. Chad Gable for what? What
He was in the Rumble.
was he?
Yeah, he devised a plan to get rid of Omos.
That's, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest. I dozed off for like 15 minutes of that match, and it was that middle point. I'm sure that's exactly when that happened. Because
he sacrificed the Archer of Infamy.
Damian Priest.
Why do I always forget his name?
I don't know.
I always call him Archer, and I'm like, that's not right.
No, yeah, but okay, so that happened right in the middle.
Arrow guy.
So okay, I didn't realize he was in it. That's how quick he was going. But again, everything that he's done and built to, and even dealt with that Shorty G bullshit gimmick, like he made it through, and he's still one of the most entertaining, because that fucking spelling bee, even though it was a bad idea, it was actually really fucking funny. And Riddle with Randy's reaction and Gable being the mouthpiece, like, it was hilarious. I think his character work is amazing and has come a long way. And his in-ring work is, I mean, almost second to none. They keep comparing him to Kurt Angle. So he's the whole package, and he doesn't get enough. He can easily be a top guy. He's just too short. So, I mean, but he's amazing. And I think, yeah, he is number one on my list of underappreciated, underused.
Vince ain't gonna get beaten by another short guy.
No.
He's not gonna get tricked by one of them guys again. Those damn Bryans.
Exactly.
All right, so I was thinking one off the top of my head. I think Natty is like, so like, look at her. She's like the workhorse. Like, she lasted 50 some minutes in the Rumble, and people don't even realize she was there and how long she was in for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy.
I love the moment with her and Melina.
Yeah.
Them wrestling. Like, I love that moment. But you're right. Natty is just
She's always
she's
there.
solid. Yeah, solid. You could put her in anything. That's why WWE likes her so much, because she can be an ambassador. Like, oh, hey, we need this done. You know what? Send Natty. She can go out and do the press. Or we have a charity, go up, send Natty. Wait, we need to have a match to fill a quick 7 minutes. Natty can go. She'll do it. Like, you know, she's just plug anywhere you need her, and you know she'll do a good job. She'll deliver for the company, and she's still great.
She doesn't get utilized enough as the champion that she should be. Like, she
Agreed.
should at least have another 1 or 2 titles left in her. She's just as good and a hell of a lot more polished than a lot of the other women in this division. I mean, and her promos are really good.
She is very good.
She's a good heel and she's a good face.
She can be a little awkward here and there on the when she's the face because I feel like she don't know what to do with it.
I think that's just WWE in itself. I think a lot of people are awkward as a face. I think they're made to be goofy. You have to be like this bumbling idiot face. Happy to be here.
Hence Riddle.
I want to say, yeah. Well, he's actually just an idiot, but
exactly.
that's besides the point. I want to see her run the old Brett angle where she goes anti-America.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
I was just thinking that the other night. I would
love to see that. I don't want them to do like the League of Nations route.
The League of Nations?
What was it?
I don't know. I know it was the League.
I'm pretty sure it was the League of Nations.
That doesn't sound right to me.
League of Nations was Rusev.
I really liked them too, though. Like I really liked that group.
Del Rio and Sheamus. What did I say? League of Nations, right? I bet you I'm right.
Yeah.
All right, we're just waiting for Google to verify my correct.
You're right. You're right. League of Nations.
You thought I was going to say the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I honestly did. I was waiting for it to come.
Yes, with what was it? Sean Connery? Connor? Yeah, Sean Connery. It was a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, back to Natty.
Natty for the women, I think, completely. Like, I think she could be a champion at any moment.
Who's the American that saves the day against a Canada-driven Natty?
Oh man, it would have to be like Lacey Evans.
I was gonna say I was hoping that's what you were gonna get to. It has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be Lacey Evans.
It would have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Anyway, for the men, I think it's always Ziggler. Always. Like Ziggler he's like Natty. He's that male version. Like you could put him in anything and he'll absolutely kill it. You can put him in literally anything and he'll absolutely kill it. And he isn't in the main title picture nearly enough. And he could be and should be.
Yeah, he could be and he should be, but I don't think he at this point really cares to be.
No,
I think
but they missed that opportunity. I'm not saying that he cares to be right now, but they missed that opportunity so many times with him. He should have been after that him and Miz feud. He should have been in the main title picture. When you run a storyline like that, at least when we did it back in the day, I'm showing our age. But when you win the Intercontinental title, your next step after losing that is going to the main title. They don't do that anymore. Their mid-card titles don't skyrocket you to the main event picture. That's why
it's not a stepping stone anymore.
That's why you have no fucking main eventers. You haven't gotten anyone there. You haven't used your mid-card to gain any traction to get someone over to the next level. And they're just afraid to pull the trigger. Like Woods, when they did that whole United States title thing, he should have won it. And that should have launched him after that because he ran that whole thing. That was entertaining because of him. He should have won that. That should have skyrocketed him after that to the main event picture. And you could have kept him there. It's just that everyone's so small and they can't be a world champion when you're that small.
That's the problem.
If you're entertaining, who cares how small you are?
Vince, that's the only person that matters.
That's so stupid.
It hasn't changed, though. This isn't new.
Here's the thing. That's why he's doing the NXT 2.0 and he's scouting all these like athletes. He wants these big fucking people.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, almost will, if he is champion, it will be a transitional champion. They won't look at that dude. That dude's huge, athletic as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his big thing's going to be the mic.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, fucking, Heyman did Brock. I mean, you can get someone. Bring fucking Teddy Long back.
Bring managers back, period.
Yeah, right.
Give me Jimmy Hart. Give me Heenan. Give me all that from the 80s that we don't have anymore. Like, okay,
You know
so
who would be a great manager? Although
first,
he could still wrestle?
first of all, Malcolm Bivens should be the number one guy called up to be the first manager.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The ultimate manager, he's right there.
Yeah, but you know who I think would be really good, even though he's probably still in wrestling shape? I think Booker T would be a great manager.
Oh, absolutely.
For Omos?
Yeah.
I think he'd be great for anybody. Like, I think that him on the mic is fucking priceless.
Again, reasons that former superstars can be kept under contract, but don't have to necessarily come back and win the title off of people. They can be managers and be there just like a Captain Lou was. You know what I mean? After his career was up, that's what he did.
Oh, shit, man. You was way back in the day.
Captain Lou is one of my favorite all time. I love Captain Lou. So, but I mean, that's perfect. Like, former superstars can be managers now. We can do this again. Bring this back. AEW has factions. Cool. They can have factions. Make WWE. Yeah, but not like what we're saying. Yeah, you got the older guys. Yeah, mentoring them.
Christian. You got excuse me,
Vicky. Yeah, but I don't look at them the way I'm looking at a Malcolm Bivens. You know what I mean?
You mean a natural, like the mouthpiece. You're talking about like a Heyman.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart, and he's like that. Like, just
you're talking about not a wrestler. You're talking about strictly a manager.
Exactly. Yes.
They should really, when they're doing their hiring for like these big fucking brooding people, they should also be hiring people that, like, comedians.
Yes.
People that are used to performing and doing like sketch comedy.
Improv.
Mm-hmm. They should be scouting these people too and bringing them in.
Yeah. I mean,
fucking get like a YouTuber. What the fuck that, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
Dick factor.
I don't think that's what they're called, but okay.
Oh.
We'll go with that, I guess.
I think that's a great idea. I think it would definitely help. It would help NXT if they did it more, and it would help the main roster if they did it more too. I'm not saying everybody gets a manager, because everyone doesn't need a manager.
Yeah.
Like the New Day doesn't need a manager. I don't think Street Profits. I don't think KO, Sammy. Although Sammy being a manager would be pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people like that I don't think need a manager. Charlotte don't need a manager.
No.
Remember when Rick was trying to manage her and he fucking ended up like bringing her back? He was bringing her down.
Yeah, I think. Well, like, look, Lacey. I still think Lacey, when she comes back, like, I thought that's what they were going to go with the Ric Flair thing, and then it took that turn that, of course, you had to do with Ric Flair. But, like, I don't know. Some of the women I would love to see experience like male managers, and not only that, then a couple good female managers. You know what I mean? That a female managing a female and doing that, like, I think that would benefit for WWE just in a different look than every other promotion.
I can see that. I'm on board. Sign me up. How do we get this plan in play?
We don't have any reach.
I need to get the reach. How do we get the reach?
I think we're a little past the time for us to get the reach. We're a little late. You need to get the business first.
We're not even getting the reach.
No.
All right. Do we want to talk a little AEW?
Of course. Yeah.
We want to touch on it.
Yeah.
Literally the one thing that I make sure I catch every week is Dynamite. I'm not fully caught up on Rampage. Friday nights are tough. We were talking with Philly Mike. And
yeah.
Nice. I mean, I do end up eventually watching it. It might be like a half hour late. And I'm not fully like locked in unless it's a good match. But
Mhm.
AEW Dynamite, I'm usually locked in for the full 2 hours.
I agree, and it's the only TV product I can watch live and not get bored. Although I do not like the picture in picture, doesn't help me out at all, and that's just a personal preference.
I don't like
But
it either.
but I can sit through commercials and wait for it to come back because it's engaging. There's a storyline that keeps moving on. They're always setting up next parts of it on whether it's on Rampage or the following Dynamite. Like Philly Mike said the same thing. Like it's easy to watch, so I'm willing to sit through it live, sit through commercials and watch it live. Where Raw, no. It's even SmackDown, and I like a lot of stuff that SmackDown's doing, but even that I'm fast forwarding through. I'm waiting an hour in and then catching up. But AEW, you're right, Dynamite. I think it's the best televised wrestling show right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's some things I do want to change. Like I actually want them to start. You're such a young group. I don't want to. I'm tired of seeing the same stuff every week.
Such as?
I mean, I like the ending of it, but I think the Cole Orange Cassidy thing could have been drawn out a little bit more. I don't think that needed weekly television.
Mhm.
Like I get it. They're kind of like they're telling stories and they're doing storylines, but I think they're just moving through them too quick. So when they try and go back to some of this stuff, you're not going to really remember it. Like unless it was a bigger feud, like you can play off of that. But I feel like they're running through these too quick to the point of where you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that they had a feud going a while back. And there's some people they just like plug and play and they'll bring them in. Like Archer, I know we're both big fans of Archer, but I don't get how he comes back and he's in the title picture. Like, what was he like? They really had never done anything with him. Like, they never made him feel like that monster that they could have and should have made him feel like. So,
I think in the beginning they did. They like when he first came in and had Jake, he felt like that monster. But then,
he didn't win the big ones, and that's what you need.
Exactly. Once he got beat, that was it.
That's what you need to feel like a threat. I mean, I know they're young, and I know things could always turn around. And I don't know if they do something goofy where he ends up beating Adam Page, and this is his time. I know you really want that.
I would fucking love that.
Yeah, and you never know. You could get a surprise like that. I don't think you will.
Not me either.
I think they're already planning something for Hangman, and I don't think this is it. Actually, I don't know what they're planning for Hangman, to be honest with you. Because I think focus is going to shift to the Bucks and Omega versus Fish and O'Reilly and Cole sooner rather than later. And I think that's going to be your main story. And there's probably not going to be any titles even linked to that story.
And there shouldn't be. There doesn't have to be, and there shouldn't be.
There doesn't need to be, but here's where my mentality comes in. I think it should not overshadow your champion, any of your champions. I think it should be a really good story, but I think you need to have just as good of stories for your main champions as well.
I agree. I think that it should be Young Bucks. Oh, it should be Young Bucks, Omega, and are they the hell's their name? The Undisputed Era. What's their new name again?
Undisputed,
whatever. Yeah, I think you can do that, but you can still have the whoever Hangman's going up against. You have, like you said, you have to build that up. You have to make that bigger. And then you still have the tag titles that you want to get elevated, which now I love how Santana Ortiz are kind of pushing Chris Jericho away and being like, look, we got held back. Like, it's our time now. Like, we've been waiting.
I think they get it. I think that's one thing that AEW does. They listen to the social media, like what hits and what doesn't. Like, there's been a lot of people that have been saying that Santana Ortiz have been underutilized and they've been overshadowed since being there. They're one of the best tag teams. And I agree with that. I think we were some of the people saying that.
Yep.
And I think with them finally getting a chance, hopefully, to show that why they are one of the best tag teams, not only in AEW, but in the world.
Period.
I hope that that does come to fruition and that does become something that happens. And I think it should. I mean, I don't think their tag titles are as prominent as they should be.
Or as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah. Like, I don't, nothing against Jungle Express, but
I think they need to split them.
I I get it. It was happy. It was shocking. It was a good surprise, but I don't see anything long term in that. I don't think they're that exciting of a team.
I think Jungle Boy's great.
I think Jungle Boy's got to be on his own, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. You got to split them.
I think that hurts Luchasaurus because I think Jungle Boy's more fitting for the type of wrestlers that they have. And I think they're going to be the anti WWE where they'll have big guys and they won't necessarily get over like they would in WWE the day of yore.
I mean, yes, yeah, I agree with that. But I think like with Luchasaurus,
well, you gotta look like
I don't want to go into the debate show that we're going to be releasing later in the week, because talking about releases, but like he's one honestly that is just like, thanks so much for helping us start AEW, but all right, we'll see you later when your contract expires. I don't think a lot of people will miss him. He hasn't made that much of an impact. Don't get me wrong. He's a great talent. I love watching him in the ring, but you got to start trimming that fat that were that homegrown talent that you were going to use and they were going to build on their backs that you're releasing now or not renewing. You got to start doing that more. And you got to, hey, you know what? There's no, like, people don't want politics in their wrestling. It's inevitable. Just ask Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer, House of Hardcore, it's no politics, only wrestling. Yeah, well, it was for a little bit. And then you had to be smart, and Impact found their way in and the right exposure, and it made sense. But politics never leaves wrestling. So all those guys got to go and girls got to go. They got to feed the rest of wrestling and make that indie scene. Yeah, that indie scene has to get bigger, because I still think it's still great. Don't get me wrong. There's shows everywhere, but I think the quality is a little bit lower than it was 4 years ago.
You need some of those big names to come back where they're actually helping the indies, like Cordona.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's an extreme example, but like once you get some of those people back down in the indies, and then the indies flourishes again.
Exactly.
Kind of like you have to kind of develop quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, look, the AEW just took a big indie name off the indies. Danhausen. Like, he was like one of the most over wrestlers, personalities, whatever you want to call it, on the independent scene. Now he's in AEW.
All right, so I want to stay on him real quick.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of debate with people with Danhausen. A lot of people are knocking AEW for this because there's always been, you either really like Danhausen or you don't get him at all.
Here's the thing. He's a genius. He's marketed himself so freaking well that you'd be stupid not to sign him, because he's one of your only guys that goes cross-cultural. There's people that don't even watch wrestling that know Danhausen. Like, I like him. I think he's entertaining. I think he's goofy. I think he's funny. I think the shit that he does and he says it's just abnormal, and you're just like, what? And I don't think, like, his character and the way he dressed, I think it's irony. Like, they don't look like they go together, but they make it work, and he's like an anomaly in wrestling.
All right, so let me ask you this, because you have been, since we've seen him for the first time, you've been a fan of Danhausen from the very start.
Oh, the tequila got me big time. That was a huge pop.
That is the one reason I came around on him, because I didn't get it. I was like, he's okay. I don't get it. I don't get the referring to yourself in third person. I don't get it.
I love that.
And then he did the tequila thing at Beyond the one time, and I popped huge for it. I loved it, and I was like, all right, that was really, really funny. And that got me. But would I be wrong in saying that if I'm watching AEW and I'm an AEW fan, I would rather him just do things in promos and vignettes and maybe make an appearance here or there on a match or two every couple weeks. But in other words, like a Firefly Funhouse, but completely fucking different. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that be his thing. And then every now and then him have a match, you pull out tequila, you do all that. But I don't need to see him week in and week out wrestle.
Here's the thing. If that tequila gets over on television, you're going to be saying it.
Oh, absolutely.
They might make it like a special thing where you don't see it every time he's out. But I mean, if that gets over,
it'll be huge.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I don't
know what the debate is about at AEW, like, because they're kind of just fucking flying by the seat of their pants, honestly.
Doing a good job at it, the way they do it.
They're signing a lot of top people. They're bringing them in right away. I mean, they're doing what kind of needs to be done to stay relevant and win the ratings war. But I mean, I like a lot of shit that they do. I don't think they have enough TV time. I'll say that every time. I don't think they have enough TV time to get everybody that they need to get to. Because right now, like, what's Britt Baker doing? Who's coming after her belt? Who's coming after her title? Like, she was hanging out with Adam Cole, and that became a thing. Like, that takes away from one of your champions. Like, you don't have enough time to get to everyone, whereas WWE has too much time, and they still don't know what the fuck to do. They need to somehow find a way to, like, here, AEW, get a couple more out of our hours. We'll take less. We'll do with what we can, and you can have a couple of our hours.
Yeah. Take away NXT 2.0, take away an hour of Raw, you're good to go. There's 3 hours in the way.
You're saying take away all of NXT 2.0?
Yeah, I don't need to see a bunch of wrestlers who aren't ready yet perform on TV. I don't need to see that. Like, and I love a lot of those guys, but I don't need to see it. Give me a polished product. Give me something different on USA on a Tuesday night now. Like, give me something.
They could give them our show. We can.
But like, I just give me something different. I don't need developmental. I don't want to watch developmental every week, even though. Yeah, like although LA Knight and Ciampa and I love those guys and Grimes, like I love all of them, but I don't want to see the rest. I don't want to see the young people cutting their teeth in the ring in front of a weird crowd in Universal Studios. Like I don't care to see it. While it, no, it's not Universal. But like while it looks like we're in Sesame Street. Yeah, exactly. Like what
they put on USA Double Dare.
Exactly. Give me that for 2 hours.
Give us the NXT superstars doing Double Dare every week. And American Gladiator. Let's do that. We'll have the NXT superstars do every cool 90s show that we like. Like, let's get a little guts going. Let's see who can win the Astro Crag or the Aggro Crag. Now, that's something I would want to watch.
Yep.
Ever get a hold of Xavier Woods? Isn't Bill good friends with him or some shit?
This really is our old format. We're making fun of Bill and all. It's perfect.
I had to.
Yeah.
I mean, I segued it perfect. But no, I would rather watch that on USA. And I think a lot of other people would too.
I agree, yeah.
And if you want to capture the key demographic, I bet you that demographic would watch that over a wrestling product.
Over what's currently there? Yes, absolutely.
No. I'm saying.
Oh, period?
I'm saying if you put our format on Wednesday nights, I bet you we would take a chunk of that late 20s to early 40s demographic.
You're right.
Because then you get, dude, you put on American Gladiators? Oh, fuck you. I'm not watching Dynamite. I'm watching wrestlers play fucking American Gladiators. That would be fucking great.
You got me with guts. Dude,
all of them, all the game shows.
Legends of the Hidden Temple's back.
I was gonna say, put fucking Hidden Temple. Get fucking Cameron Grimes in that motherfucker. Let's see how he fucking does in the fucking Hidden Temple. He's got to be like a purple parrot. Okay. We could bring back fucking the Fashion Police. I'm sure we can get them involved.
Fandango and Breeze.
Yeah, they would fucking love that. I know. I don't know them personally, but I guarantee you they would fit in perfectly.
I think you're right.
Wild and crazy kids in there. Yeah. And then we just rehash a whole show. We just grab a cast and we'll redo Hey Dude.
I knew it was going to make it that way eventually. I knew you were going to find a way of bringing it all the way around to do that. I knew it. And I think that's how we're going to close the show. So
I think our idea is perfect.
So we hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you like the idea that instead of NXT, we have old 90s competitive shows and apparently a Western. So thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be talking to you later.